Welcome back to the Matt Borger Show. So today I want to react to a video about the drama that is going on in Texas regarding the redrawing of the maps. Currently, 5 Democratic seats are at stake, and some Democratic politicians have fled the state, and that triggered some major drama because essentially the governor of Texas ordered state troopers to go after these Democrats. However, based on the video that you're about to watch, I think things have been taken out of context, and the way they're being presented to a majority conservative audience is, I think, it doesn't really stand for what actually is happening and why is it happening. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's watch the video. And as usual, I'm going to pause every now and again to comment on a few things. So yeah, let's get into it.
This happened 10 minutes ago. Texas Governor Greg Abbott says state troopers have been deployed and are now actively searching the streets to locate and arrest Democratic House members who fled the state.
Is it the case that you could actually arrest those representatives and bring them back to Austin to establish a quorum?
So that is correct. And Will, as we're talking right now,
oh my
Texas
God.
Department of Public Safety officers are on the streets looking for those Democrat House members to arrest them.
They're on, bro. Jesus.
To take them to the Texas Capitol.
You're hiding Democrats under the floorboards, aren't you?
To hold them there until a quorum is reached.
All right. And then, and that may, I'm not sure how many, can you tell me how many different representatives that we're talking about are in the state of Texas? I believe you're 6 short right now of a quorum. Would that number bring you to a quorum?
Got to catch them all, right?
So that's a fact that we don't know yet. We don't know which Democrats remain in the state who are not yet identified.
Are you hiding enemies?
We don't know
of the state?
exactly how many are out of state, but know this also, Will, and that is the Texas Department of Public Safety is also working.
Explain this to a non-American viewer. So basically what happened in Texas is they were going to have a vote on redistricting, like the voting, and the redistricting was going to be in favor of this guy's party. And basically, all of the people of the opposite party decided to literally pack up their toys and go home. They said, fuck you. We're not going to vote on this. We're going to leave the entire state. And we're going to shut the entire thing down and prevent the vote from happening. Well, apparently, abdicating or whatever, like leaving your post of duty.
So what is happening is called gerrymandering, right? And this has been going on in Texas for some time now. And let me pull up some real numbers, okay, and real data. So this has been going on since 2021. After the 2020 census, essentially the maps have been redrawn, and apparently this is a pretty normal process. However, ultimately what happened was after redrawing the maps, the representation was completely out of whack. So basically, here we go. So after 4 years of intense conflict, Texas basically gained 2 congressional seats, again, after the 2020 consensus. But then what happened was 95% of the state's population growth came from communities of color. Basically, the maps were redrawn the wrong way, and essentially they're misrepresenting the population, and that's basically the beef, right? That the Democrats feel that what was done in 2020 or after 2020 was wrongful, and it's actually there's actually some numbers here. Texas is 4 million population growth between 2010 and 2020. The state added 11 Hispanic residents for every additional white resident, but apparently the way they redrew the map, it doesn't represent the ethnic makeup of the voters. So essentially, because of that, there's some beef between Democrats and Republicans. So this is not like, okay, so the Democrats are just criminals and what they're doing is wrong. Like, this is completely taken out of context. Asman hasn't researched anything here. He's just purely reacting to this video without actually really understanding like what is being said here. And I mean, I feel he's presenting Democrats as like some, like, even he even said it, like enemies of the state. Like, it's not really a good idea to throw things, to say things like that, especially at a time like this, in my opinion. But yeah, so there's, to the current conflict, there's some deep roots to it that is based on unfair practices and heavy gerrymandering from the Republican side. And essentially, the reason why there's so much action going on and the governor is deploying state troopers, the reason why that is happening is Trump is pressuring him into moving ahead with the vote in order to gain even more seats for Republicans before the midterm elections. Because if the midterm elections go ahead and if Republicans get voted out, Trump is going to be removed. That's for sure. Like 100%. I can guarantee you that. So before the midterms happen, Trump is going to fight with gritted teeth in order to make sure that Democrats cannot make that happen. Because he knows that his term is going to end if he doesn't do this. So he's doing it, and clearly Fox News is really misdirecting the population, and yeah, I think it's not cool.
Is against the law, and it's apparently also a felony. So now this is the governor of Texas who has mobilized.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering like whether gerrymandering is against the law. Like, why are we not talking about that? Like, that's what I'm wondering.
The Texas state troopers to arrest the Democrat elected officials and bring them back to the state capitol to make them vote on the bill that will cause them to lose. Yep. Dire election of duty. Yep. Oh my God. It's called the law. It is. It's the rules. That's the way the rules are.
Yeah, it's kind of silly, right? Because again, and this is why it's so dangerous to stay in your little bubble. And like what I like doing, I watch the media on both ends, right? I watch left-leaning content creators, and I also watch right-leaning content creators. The reason why I'm doing that is because I want to know how the two sides are communicating and what's being left out, right? Because ultimately, what I care about, I also care about the rule of law, but I also care about democracy. So when there's things happening in the background and those things are not being reported, and that makes you think that actually this is like a completely one-sided thing and Democrats are just misbehaving, that's not the case here.
I think the FBI is involved too. Yeah. And so that's pretty much where it's at. It's the equivalent of going AWOL. Lock them up and send them to a workers' camp. That's right. You thought you had a problem with Democrats? Well, Greg Abbott has the solution. Put them in jail. Problem solved.
with officials in other states to find ways in which we can try to arrest the Texas Democrat members and
So
other.
they're just trying to throw whatever they can at him. They're just trying to put him in jail. Sounds like a huge manufactured plan. Why can't they just forfeit it, since that's clearly their point in fleeing? I don't know. Like, in my opinion, I think that he does have the will of the public behind him to do this. I think that a lot of people, if they saw, like,
There's no, the will of the public is not behind him. Okay? Trump is being in his ass, and he's being forced to do this. There's no will of the public here. Based on data, the maps have been wrongfully redrawn, and that is why Democrats flipped out in the first place, right? And now they're trying to do it again. And that is the primary reason why Democrats fled. It's not because people want to do that. Like, they don't. I would argue that the average person doesn't even fully understand what goes on when it comes to redrawing the maps. It's very confusing. Even when I was doing the research, like, it's very complex, very, very complex. So yeah, I think whatever we hear in the media, it's very easy now to research whether the information presented to you is true or not. This reporting is very one-sided, extremely one-sided. It cannot even get more one-sided than this. They put him in jail. So if someone doesn't agree with you, you go to jail. That's how it works now. Do you know who did that? The Soviet leaders. Just saying.
all of the like Jasmine Crockett and all of these like fucking I don't know if she's one of the ones that's involved with this, actually, to be honest, but all of the people that cause problems like this, like that Asian guy, etc., if they see these people being escorted back into the Capitol building with handcuffs on, I can guarantee you his poll numbers will go up. I can promise you that will happen.
I don't understand why he's saying shit like that. I really don't. So now it seems like he's calling for the arrest of politicians. Asman is apparently calling for, and he has a massive audience, by the way. A lot of people watch him. So he's basically calling for the arrest of Democratic politicians. And apparently that's okay. So this is the issue here, right? This type of behavior is getting normalized. And people are becoming numb to it. And I think that is a really bad sign. It means that this is going to get worse before it gets better. Because if you let this go, like, he has a lot of influence. And that's why I don't like this. Like, you have to be objective here. If you really truly care about the country, you have to be objective. You cannot just go on and just say, like, well, arrest him and put him in jail. Like, hang him, execute him. Like, what's going to come next? Like, that's crazy talk.
People have been waiting for an actual enforcement of a degree of accountability for a very long time. And if he actually does that, and
there has to be accountability. Like, what about what happened in 2021? Where's the accountability for that? Why is he not talking about that? I don't get it. If we want to, I think we need to hold everyone accountable. Like, what is this? I don't understand.
drops the hammer on them, I think that what it will also do is it will normalize it for Trump to do it too. We're just full on autocracy now. Well, hey, those are the rules.
Those are the rules. What rules? Like, this is insane. So I think this is going to cause a lot of problems. Because if conservative influencers are talking shit like this, and they can get away with it, I mean, of course they can get away with it, right? But what I'm saying is, if speech like this gets normalized, I think that is very dangerous, because people are already kind of pitted against each other, and this is going to further escalate the process. And in order to de-escalate, I think there needs to be a conversation, because to me it feels like culturally there's such a massive divide now between Democrats and Republicans that it almost feels like we're looking at two different countries. It has to be said. So yeah, I think this type of discourse is very dangerous.
I mean, if you do, that's too bad. Yeah, those are the rules. You might just run for president next election. Yeah, I mean, like, the law's the law. You can't skip work. Exactly. Bro, what's wrong with you? What do you mean? You're mad? You're mad about what I'm saying? Like, am I? So you said, so Jan, is gerrymandering cool now? I'm just going to ban you. You're not advocating, you're not talking about this in good faith. In my opinion, I don't think that they should be arrested, but I think that if they don't show up, they should lose their seat. You can't just simply refuse to show up to a vote because you're unhappy about how it will turn out. I think this is very clearly an abuse of the democratic process. And while I don't agree necessarily with putting all of them in jail.
So here's the problem. In my opinion, the abuse of the democratic process has started long ago. And it hasn't started with the Democrats. The wrongdoing started to happen back in 2021. That is when it all started, based on the information I gathered. It's not my opinion. I just basically analyzed what I found. That's it. So, if you ask me, this is not on the Dems. It's on the Republicans. And specifically what happened in 2021. This is a follow-up to that. And Trump is putting pressure on Abbott. And he wants to get this done. And believe me when I'm saying this, this is not going to end well. If things like that are going to happen and continue, it's going to get very interesting.
I don't really care if it happens. I don't. I think that Democrats have weaponized the legal process enough. I think they did that with Donald Trump. They affect.
That's insane. That's insane talk. Like how did they legalize the like this is, yeah. I literally have evidence in front of me that in 2021, redistricting took Texas from fair-ish representation to full-on Republican representation. The districts have been wrongfully redrawn. So there's like some numbers here, okay? And I'm quoting. So Republicans successfully reduced competitive congressional districts from 6 to just 1, with the Princeton gerrymandering project giving the maps an F grade for partisan fairness and calculating an efficiency gap of R plus 15. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but basically this meant Democrats would need to win approximately 58% of the statewide vote to gain proportional representation. Okay. So it's like, this is just full on misinformation, if you ask me. Like, yeah, I'm really speechless because I actually like watching Asman. Okay, like I watch his content and I enjoy it, but I don't think he's right here, not at all.
Actively open this Pandora's box, and now Republicans have 4 years to take complete advantage of it. And if I was them, this is the way that I look at everything. I look at everything from the perspective of, does this get me closer or farther away from my goals? I think that if I was a Republican, this would get me closer to my goals. So I would do it. It's that simple. And it's not about what's right or wrong or what's fair or what the right thing to do is or what. No, absolutely not. You do what works, and that's what works. Not showing up should be an option.
Yeah, you can't say stuff like this in 2025. Like, do what works. Like, I mean, dictatorship works, right? It does work. But is that what people want? To basically arrest political enemies? Like, are we going to normalize this? Is it going to be okay to just basically go ahead and do whatever? Like, we're only talking about 2025. What will happen when we're getting close to the midterms?
Automatic nay vote? Yeah, exactly. They were elected to attend votes, not run away from them? Yes, exactly. Both sides do this, so it's a recognized cheat code? Yeah, it is.
States
all about
and
winning.
bring them back
Absolutely.
to the state of Texas.
All about winning.
Well, that was my next question I was going to
Only
ask you,
focus
Governor.
on winning.
Of course, Texas DPS would have limited powers to arrest anyone out of state. Most of these Democrats have fled the state for that express purpose. Representative Oliverson has said that both you and Attorney General Ken Paxton, though, have looked into whether or not they're funding these trips or fundraising off of these trips, which would amount to bribery. Would that open up the potential for you to go retrieve some of these representatives who have fled the state?
Yep.
That opens up several opportunities. One, bribery in Texas is a felony. Felony is the type of offense that we can issue papers to have these Democrats brought back. Another thing, though, that Democrats don't seem to know, and that is taking or receiving a payment like they have to escape or not take a vote subjects them to forfeiture of their seat. That's going to be one of the—
I am still in the camp of nothing ever happens with this. I'm sorry. Until I see them getting convicted and put in jail. I want to see this happen, bro. Can't Trump order them back even across state borders? Well, that's what's probably going to happen. Is that I bet Trump will probably somehow figure out a way to do this federally. So that's it. You break the law, you need to be charged with the crime. Nobody's above the law. Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. Yeah, again, like, that's what the...
If no one's above the law, why are they trying to gerrymander? Just saying.
rules are. If you don't like the rules, then change them.
The legal grounds you're going to see asserted here immediately to seek the vacation or elimination or abandonment of these House seats by the Democrats. So we will remove them from office and call for elections to replace them.
Wow. Well, there it is, guys. There it is. You have to vote to change them? Yeah. Well, they're not.
Yeah. This is getting crazier and crazier by the day. And yeah, like something, this is abnormal, I think, that there's guys like that out there who, it seems to me that Asmongold doesn't believe in democracy. That's what he says. Doesn't believe in it. He is completely okay with basically Trump taking over and doing whatever he wants. And he also wants to ensure that Trump cannot get impeached. And I think all of it is wrong. All of it is wrong, and there has to be some type of a fine line where people can come to an agreement, and stuff like this can really stop happening, because screwing with representation is not going to get better lives for anyone. These people are doing it to stay in power. Okay. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of nuts. Yeah, let me know what you think. Let's chat about this in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and also please subscribe to the channel. It would really help me out, and I'll talk to you soon.